How's it going, everyone? Want to talk a story that has certainly been making the rounds quite a lot, and with the impending release of Doom: The Dark Ages, the early access is kicking off, but the official release will be May the 15th. I must once again bring your guys' attention to, seemingly, it's become a Microsoft thing, and it has certainly been happening with other developers and publishers where the disc is really just a piece of plastic, doesn't have much on it, and it does require a full download to even access the game. Doom: The Dark Ages is a really interesting one, and it's very ironic that it's happening with Dark Ages, and I'll explain why, and what this can be as far as gaming long-term and it having direct consequences, and you're seeing a lot of what you saw be put in place for a long time. But Does It Play tweeted out, one of our lovely patron supporters got their hands on a copy of Doom: The Dark Ages PS5 early. This is insane, this part. Just a 85 MB stub and a blocker to go online and update. This game has 85 megabytes on the disc. The PlayStation 5 disc supports like 100 gigabytes. 85 megabytes are on the disc, which at that point, this is absolutely comical, and this is game key cards. This is essentially game key cards. Everybody wants to crap on Nintendo for game key cards. Let's keep it a buck, let's keep it 100, and let's crap on Doom as well for having 85 megabytes on the disc, which again, I think is hilarious. At least from a Nintendo standpoint, what we know is it seems like Nintendo is offering 64 gigabyte SD cards, or you can do the game key card route. The 64 gigabyte card, I believe, eats into your profit margin and by a significant amount. Doom: The Dark Ages, like, you're talking about the PlayStation 5 disc. I would imagine you could have that content on the disc and have a offline playable where you can buy the game. If you can't even connect to the internet, you can still play the game. Obviously, with Dark Ages, you install the game, you update the game, and then you can go offline and play it. But the fact that you do have to have a download to this extent on the game is wild to me. And why this is so ironic is there was a big point made with Doom: The Dark Ages being like, hey, with Doom: The Dark Ages, we're gonna forego doing a multiplayer component. We are going all in on the single player component. And it absolutely feels like they have. It's expanded, it's bigger, the levels are bigger, there's more exploration, there's more of a narrative focus. That's all great. Isn't it ironic that Doom: The Dark Ages having this single player focus, the campaign focus, is the first Doom game that is going this direction in terms of being required to have this download, and it being a significant download like this. And guys, you are going to see this bleed into other publishers. If you think Microsoft and Bethesda, they're going to be the first ones and the only ones to do this, I'm telling you guys, that's why when we talk about things like Mario Kart World being $80, when we talk about things like the game key cards, all of that is stuff to look at. Don't get into this mindset of, oh, this console versus that console. Oh, Nintendo's whack for doing this. Whenever I look at situations like that, I'm like, what are the rippling effects that this is gonna have to the overall landscape of gaming? It always has that. $80 games, that's not gonna be the first one. Fake early access, that's not gonna be the first game, and it was a pathway to $80 games. Online downloads being required for single player games, not gonna be the last one, isn't even the first one at this stage of the game. And what's wild to me is Bethesda, obviously owned by Microsoft. I don't know who is making the decisions as far as this is concerned, but Microsoft, it does seem like it has been a regular thing. Indiana Jones, that game requires a download as well. Forza Horizon 5, no physical release on that on PlayStation. And when you look at something like Gears of War, when you see stories like this, if we get Gears of War physically on PlayStation 5, do you guys really think it's going to be all of the content on disc? I could totally see, yeah, it getting a physical release and then it's some sort of download, and we go that way. Why this is worrying to me is all of these things do push us closer to an all-digital world, and some people are all down with that. They already have a PlayStation 5 Pro, they don't have a disk drive installed, they buy and download all their games, which is fine, but the reality is this is removing options for the consumer, and that's what I hate to see more than anything else. When you are limited in terms of options, now you could say, hey, PC gaming is all downloaded. Yes, PC gaming is all downloaded, but PC gaming is more of an open platform. I can have a game on Steam, it be available on Steam, but then you have other clients available. There are the GOGs out there. If you're, want to do some Prime gaming, you could go that way. And also, Steam allows you to go on a site like Green Man Gaming, Humble Bundle, Games Planet. All of these websites are out there where you can buy game keys at discounts, and it's all verified. It's all on an open platform. On PlayStation and Xbox, it's more of a closed ecosystem. So not all digital gaming is created equally, you guys. The PC variant of digital gaming and the PlayStation 5 variant of digital gaming, it's a different landscape because PlayStation 5 is more of a closed ecosystem where if you go all digital on PlayStation, you're locked within that ecosystem and you're more so tied to that. With PC, there's a little bit more latitude. There are cheaper game options available, and I do value that when you talk about PC gaming being download only as well. And again, you guys gotta keep it 100. If everybody's crapping on Nintendo for the game key cards, and I certainly have, I gotta crap on this. And you guys, I'm sure this game is gonna be good, or it is good. Obviously, the reviews are out. People are gonna love it. I'm gonna love it. I have a copy of the game. However, I do not want this to be the reality of games going forward. And while Bethesda has done it with Indiana Jones, and now they're doing it with Doom the Dark Ages, and Microsoft has done it, and limiting physical releases, Alan Wake 2 didn't get a physical release right away. These situations are becoming more common. We are inching closer and closer to the all-digital world, and you guys gotta be prepared for that. On top of that, we talked about this when the PlayStation 5 Pro didn't have the disc drive. A lot of people assess that as, oh, Sony's being greedy, but they assessed it in a vacuum of, like, the disc drive not being available and they had to spend the extra $75. The reality is, the disc drive not being available was whack, but it pushes people more to digital gaming. That is what's actually consequential for the long-term prospects of gaming, where, trust me, all of these publishers would love for you to buy all your games digitally. Y'all know Sony would love to buy all of your games digitally. They don't want you on a disc drive-enabled PS5. They'd rather you get the digital console. They'd rather you buy your games digitally because that means you are more locked and you are more invested into their ecosystem. It's all about keeping you into that ecosystem when we're talking about a PlayStation. They want to keep you in that ecosystem because nowadays it doesn't matter about releasing exclusives to grab you into that ecosystem. If they can lock you in, the necessity for exclusives to go goes down, and that is already the case without there being much competition for PlayStation. And then, instead of that, they are more focused on building other ecosystems with their live service titles. All of these things are connected together. It all bleeds together. And yes, while it's easier to look at it in a vacuum, and that's usually what we do, you have to also realize that all of these things bleed together. Where PlayStation 5 Pro doesn't have a disc drive. Now you're seeing games having very little content on the disc, requiring a download, and you're seeing game key cards. You're seeing a lot of these other publishers. Everybody takes into account what everybody else is doing, the publishers and the developers I'm talking about. When this publisher does an $80 game, everybody else is studying it. Maybe they won't jump on it right away, but they're certainly studying it. They're certainly seeing the reaction to it. When this publisher goes, downloads are required on the disc, or a physical release doesn't even happen, it's digital only, other publishers are taking note, and it all, again, is interconnected. In the case of Doom the Dark Ages, again, I do think it's comical that, first of all, 85 megabytes on the disc is just insanity when you're talking about a disc that can support 100 gigabytes. The fact that, isn't it so ironic that this is a game that focuses on the single player portion of Doom, eliminating the multiplayer, yet this is the one that goes the route of, okay, you're gonna require a download for the game. Just think, that's a little bit hilarious in its own right as well. And this is something we've been talking about when we talked about PlayStation 5 Pro. Not having the disc drive. It was to push you more into digital gaming. It's great to have a digital-only option as a console. Keyword there, option. Having the option for the disc drive. And yes, the disc drive is an optional attachment for the PlayStation 5 Pro, but it's all a sign that they want to push you into going to that digital route. And it is what it is. Like, a lot of us saw it coming. I am really curious on how the whole game keycard fiasco is going to develop into. I think ultimately, people are just going to deal with it, but that's a story to really follow as well. And at what point is it affecting a large portion of the consumer base, or does it continue to be what I'm sure the publishers perceive it as a vocal minority just talking on social media, and it's not going to translate into it affecting sales or anything like that. And Doom the Dark Ages is going to do incredibly well despite this. It's on Game Pass as well, so they're going to make their money, and I feel like with Game Pass titles, they're more incentivized to do things like this. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, thank you for watching, and very interested to hear your guys' thoughts. Sound off down below, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.